Hello Michelle. I like to play with makeup, and when I put it on, sometimes I try, purple on the eyes or a weird color like blue on the lips or whatever, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And today I tried this natural color on the lips. It's like Bobbi Brown nude sort of range. It's supposed to be the right one for my skin tone, but I think it just looks a bit brown and weird. And I did something weird with my eyes that, yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that again. Don't think it quite works, but there you go. Just playing. Today is like rainy and a bit bleak, and I love the colors outside when it's like this. See what I mean? The colors on a bleak day are so cool. I didn't enjoy drawing because I think I thought that it should have been something easy, and it wasn't easy, and therefore it wasn't enjoyable for me. And I remember thinking, I'm going to improve at doing this, and I sat down and I thought I'll just try drawing something simple. I think this was last year, and I tried to draw my iPhone, and it just looked stupid, and it was really easy to draw it, but it wasn't enjoyable for me. It didn't look any good. It felt like a really silly thing to be doing. And since doing the sketchbook school course, especially watching Koone's Draw Tip Tuesday videos and her way of sketching everyday things, giving it a go myself, I've realized actually how hard it is, and just doing something as simple as drawing pens, sure, you look at the shape and you start drawing the shape, but then figuring out where you have to leave the sort of white spaces for where there's shine on the pens, and where you have to do more lines and stuff to indicate shadows and everything. And then it gets quite detailed. Maybe you want to put in what it says on the side of the pen, and then how much detail do you go into with if there are any labels or a barcode on the side, or do you get all the numbers right? If you're like drawing a ruler, do you draw all of the little lines on the side of the ruler? And this stuff all takes a lot of time, as you know. Like, I know that you know all this, but it's just what I was learning. You can spend an hour drawing 2 pens and a ruler, or you could spend 4 hours, or you could spend, an hour a day for a week just getting all the details right and getting it to look just right. And I realized that that was what I wasn't really respecting with art. I wasn't respecting that the longer that you work on it and the more seriously you take the project, and then this isn't even, adding color or adding any other mediums. It's a really big undertaking. And we were painting oranges, just doing sort of a still life in the second half of painting class this week. Beautiful, juicy, glorious colors, on a white plate. And first just getting the outlines correct with a pencil, and feeling where you had a shape wasn't quite right to match what you were seeing and from that angle. And then painting in just with water the main orange, and then putting so what colors are you seeing and where are you going to put those colors? And then there's definitely not pure orange in some places, so what color could that be to resemble what your eye is seeing? And I spent probably an hour, which was just the pencil sketch, and then doing the one orange, and not even probably a third or halfway complete of the one orange, just trying to figure out how do I get that looking anything like that. And I don't even want to show my results so far. I kind of stuffed it up. But I'm going to actually give it another go from scratch next week. We're going to start out with the orange painting again, and I think I want to do it from scratch on a new piece of paper. And yeah, or I might even give it a go at home as well. This weekend maybe I'll buy a couple of oranges and just practice at home as well. There are so many decisions to be made while you're doing it. I was kind of tired in the head when I got to painting class, and the number of decisions that I had to make while I was there about, you know, how to represent this thing, what I was choosing, the shapes and the colours and the shading and everything. My mind was tired. I was like, I don't think I can deal with any more decisions. I've reached decision fatigue today, and so I think that's why I want to start from scratch again, with hopefully a less tired brain next Tuesday. I was reading a couple of pieces recently on adult development, like we don't stop developing just when we're a child. I was reading about Kegan's stages of adult development. I'll skip past stage 1, which is impulsive mind, early childhood. I'll skip past the imperial mind, which is childhood to adolescence and some adults. So then stage 3, the socialized mind. So the most important things are the ideas, norms and beliefs of the people and systems around us. We take an external view of ourselves. They'll think I look stupid, and make it a part of our internal experience. I am stupid. We take too much personal responsibility for how other people experience us. We avoid hurting other people's feelings. We look for external validation to derive our sense of self. A lot of this made me think of Trump. So I think he's probably at stage 3, the socialized mind. And then stage 4, the self-authoring mind. I think I'm probably here, although 35% of adults, maybe I'm thinking too highly of myself. We understand that we are a person with thoughts, feelings and beliefs that are independent from the standards and expectations of our environment. We can now distinguish the opinions of others from our own opinions to formulate our own seat of judgment. We become consumed with who we are. This is the kind of person I am. This is what I stand for. And we can question expectations and values. We can take stands, set limits and solve problems with an independent frame of mind. We can take responsibility for our own inner states and emotions. I feel angry because I interpret what you did as a violation of important values of mine. And if I interpreted your actions differently, I might feel sad instead. And we realize that we're always changing, that who we are is something we can still negotiate. So I kind of feel like I'm there. Stage 5, which I have not evolved to, only 1% of adults reach stage 5. Your sense of self is not tied to particular identities or roles, but is constantly created through the exploration of one's identities and roles, and further honed through interactions with others. This is similar to the Buddhist concept of an evolving self, a self that is in constant flux, ever changing. So that's really interesting. We not only question authority, but also question ourselves. We're no longer held prisoner by our own identity. We see the complexities of life, can expand who we are and be open to other possibilities. We're reinventing our identity. It's just so curious. We can hold multiple thoughts and ideologies at once. We can understand things from many different perspectives. Like, I would love to go to classes, like I feel like if School of Life was being run by me, that there would be a conversation class that you could go to that had a different topic maybe each week, and one week might be, for example, death. I don't know if you've heard about death dinners, but that idea fascinates me because I think it's something we should talk about and we never talk about, our thoughts about death. And you know, another week could be Kegan's theory of adult development and what does stage 5 mean, and would we all want to be there, or is it not necessarily something that you aspire to be evolved to the next level of this stages of adult development, that each stage is maybe you're happier when you're at a lower stage. Anyway, I would love to meet some people who have been categorized as being stage 5 and talk to them and sort of understand what a person is like when they're an ever-evolving identity. I pointed that piece out to my brother, and he said that it reminded him of Erikson's stages of psychosocial development, which is something that he's read and he can connect with. So Erikson's stages of psychosocial development, there's 9 stages, and they're based on ages. Infancy is hope. Oh, that's lovely. And then there's a psychosocial crisis of trust versus mistrust. I love that. Infancy, psychosocial crisis. Early adulthood, the virtue is love, and the psychosocial crisis is intimacy versus isolation. Makes sense. That fits perfectly with where I was. I felt like I needed to find that connection, and if I didn't find that connection, then I would be lost for eternity. And then adulthood is defined as 40 years old to 64 years old. The virtue is care, and the psychosocial crisis is generativity versus stagnation. So can I make my life count is the existential question. When I read about this one, during middle age, the primary developmental task is one of contributing to society and helping to guide future generations. When a person makes a contribution during this period, perhaps by raising a family or working toward the betterment of society, a sense of generativity, a sense of productivity and accomplishment results. In contrast, a person who is self-centered and unable or unwilling to help society move forward develops a feeling of stagnation, a dissatisfaction with the relative lack of productivity. And then, from maturity until death, so it kind of says age 65 maybe until death, although they have thought that maybe there's a 9th stage which fits in before death. There's the existential question, is it okay to have been me? As we grow older and become senior citizens, we tend to slow down our productivity and explore life as a retired person. It's during this time that we contemplate our accomplishments and are able to develop integrity if we see ourselves as leading a successful life. If we see our life as unproductive or feel that we did not accomplish our life goals, we become dissatisfied with life and develop despair, often leading to depression and hopelessness. So I found that really interesting, and I thought, you know, I've been frustrated as long as I can remember, that I felt like I've done nothing. And I don't mean like I haven't become famous or something, or I haven't invented something awesome or started a company like Apple or anything like that, but I just, when I look back on, you know, 20s and 30s and stuff, I kind of go, it was just a muddle. Like, what actually happened then? I feel like I would like to have the feeling of, oh, I did these things, and yeah, I don't know how to get to that place. Like, I don't know if I have to plan out, you know, over the next 5 years, here are the things that I have to do so that in 5 years' time looking back, I feel like I've done these things. I don't, it's such a big thing to think about, but it's either that or I feel like I get to old age and I look back and everything's a muddle. I don't even know what I did ever.
Where's the lion?
I got Uppercase magazine, and it is beautiful. I didn't realize that it was a lot to do with print, but at the same time it's got like a whole section on art and design. So I love this piece here. This is 2 women who traveled to India, and they just painted what they saw, and they were inspired by, you know, buildings and colours and the people that they saw, and they sat down with their watercolours. And how gorgeous is that? I would love a car like that. Beautiful stuff. So even though it's allegedly to do with print, there are pieces in it that are to do with other things. There's a lot of microfascination pieces where someone has written a whole lot about something, like, you know, maps. So these are all different maps on postcards and the art of making maps. And this is a piece about an artist who hikes to places and then does abstract art based on what she's looking at, how she feels in the moment. So it's really beautiful, and it's the sort of magazine that I feel like I will want to keep, and I will want to go back and dip into it. And these micro-fascination pieces will probably interest me at different times. Like at the moment, I am not interested in this type of plate. You know, something might be something like the colours just really grab me, or I think, hey, I'm going to do something with tassels. This section on postcards from different locations, famous postcards like by those states and stuff, but also artist-made postcards saying like wish you were here from different locations. It's gorgeous. I think that you would like it. Another magazine that I think I'm going to try is Juxtapoz, but I haven't been able to find that yet, and I think I will get Flow again. Flow has also just put out a paper lovers book, which looks really cool. Lately, here and there, I've been thinking the Kurt Vonnegut phrase, if this isn't nice, what is? I think my body and mind has come to the pace of my life. I think I'm no longer yearning to like be in the CBD and be going to bars and all this sort of stuff. I'm at this suburb pace, this family pace sort of thing, and I'm no longer yearning like, oh, I should be really spending every spare moment trying to build my own business or to figure out how to be a freelancer. The kids are only this age for so long. Once they get probably halfway through primary school, then it's, you know, they need me for this much compared to now. And so to just give in to this, to use my spare moments to make my house nice and to do little things that indulge my curiosity or things that I enjoy and want to explore, like the painting and the drawing and reading books, whatever it is. And I've really been adapting to that pace. It's taken a long time. My eldest is now 3, so that's like 3 years of a bit of dissonance, and just over the past few months adjusting to the pace of what my life is and being okay with that and not feeling like I should be doing something more. And I've been having these moments over the past few weeks where previously I would be trying to do another task, for example, while my children were distracted with something, you know, if they were happily playing together, then I'd be like, now's my time to like put these things away, or to write a card to this person, or to prepare this thing for tomorrow, or to book a hair appointment to like maybe get it all shaved off and just start all over again, who knows. And instead I've been, because I'm now at the pace, I've been like, I don't need to multitask. I don't have that dissonance. I don't need to be doing something else. And maybe I sit down and I just watch the kids, or maybe I pretend to be a third kid with them, or maybe I take a couple of photos while they're doing their thing. And I just reflect, if this isn't nice, what is? And last night I could hear that Kit, the eldest, hadn't gotten to sleep, and it was like 10 p.m. He goes to bed at 8, and he was tossing and turning in his bedroom and banging his foot against the wood bars of his cot. And I just thought, he's having trouble in there, and he never has trouble. He loves sleep. And I thought, my tummy is rumbling. I don't feel like I had enough for dinner. I wonder if he's the same. I often feel that I have the hunger and thirst of a toddler. Like, often I'm needing snacks when they're needing snacks and everything. So I feel like we're quite in sync. And I just went in there and I said, "Hey buddy, you can't sleep?" And he just went, "Oh, hi." And I said, "Are you hungry?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Would you like some cereal?" And he just stood up and gave me a big hug, and he said, "That'd be nice." And so I took him in to our bedroom and I sat him down next to James, and I said, "James, can you mind Kit for a moment? I'm just going to get us both a bowl of cereal." And James was like, "Sure thing." And I went in, got 2 bowls of cereal, brought them back, and I gave one to Kit, and he goes, "Oh, that's so nice for me, Mama." And we sat there and we had our cereal, and then he went back to bed probably half an hour later and just fell completely asleep. And if that isn't nice, what is?
Is that crunchy?
Very crunchy, Kit.
He got bites.
Well, they're kind of a little bit broken. I will talk to you next week. Bye. I love you. Bye. I love you. Bye. I love you. Bye. I love you. Bye.